Disclaimer! This book is real old, with outdated ways of talking. But I like this book. LOL. Here we are at the second part, right? We got this one. We're still continuing the movie. We're still reading the book. And part first. The sheriff of Nottingham plotting against Robin sends a messenger to Lincoln. Now here's the picture. Oh, I keep stepping on that. Ow. Here's the picture of a horse or the messenger going to Lincoln over here. And the part first. Okay, let's get into this. Telling how the sheriff of Nottingham swore that he would deal dole to Robin Hood. Also how he made 3 trials thereat, but missed each time by a good bow's length. Part first. Not part 1. Part first. Now it was told before how 200 pounds were set upon Robin's head, and how the sheriff of Nottingham swore that he himself would seize Robin, both because he would fain have the 200 pounds every time. He cares more about the money than his family. What a good sheriff. Because he would fain 200, and because he slain a man who was a kinsman of his own. Now the sheriff did not yet know what a force Robin had about him in Sherwood, but thought that he might serve a warrant for his arrest, as he could upon any other man that he had broken the laws. Therefore he offered 80 golden angels to anyone who would serve his warrant. But men of Nottingham town knew more of Robin Hood and his doings than the sheriff did, and many lads to think of serving a warrant upon the bold outlaw, knowing well that all they would get for such service would be cracked crowns. So that no one came forward to take the matter. Oh, there's a picture. Cool. Robin and the Tinkerer at the Blue Boar Inn. Let me see if you guys can see it like that. Let me see. That should be Robin Hood because he's always clad in Lincoln green. That I'm assuming he's a Tinkerer. And you got the ladies right there. And they're in the Blue Inn. The Blue Boar Inn. Let's get back. I'm going to stop stepping on this. Ah, I'm falling. I hope I don't step on it. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this from now on. No, never mind. Oh, boy. This is good. I don't want to get up. Thus a fortnight passed, in which time none came forward to do sheriff's business. Then said he, "A right good reward have I offered to whomsoever would serve my warrant upon Robin Hood, and I marvel that no one has come to undertake the task." Then one of his men who was near him said, "Good master, thou wast not the force that Robin Hood has about him, and how little he cares for the warrant of a king or sheriff. Truly, no one likes to go on his service for fear of cracked crowns and broken bones." "Then I hold all Nottingham men to be cowards," said the sheriff, "and let him see that the man in all Nottinghamshire that dare disobey the warrant of our sovereign lord, King Harry. For by the shrine of St. Edmund, I will hang him 40 cubits high. But if no man in Nottingham dare win 80 angels, I will send it elsewhere, for there should be a man of metal somewhere in this land." Oh man, it's getting hot. Then he called up a messenger in whom he placed great trust, and bade him saddle his horse and make ready to go to Lincoln town to see whether he could find any one there that would do his bidding and win the reward. So that the same morning the messenger started forth upon his errand. Bright shone the sun of Kino. Well, you guys can't hear. I'm gonna raise it. Bright shone upon the dusty highway that led from Nottinghamshire to Lincoln, stretching away wide over. Oh, Lincoln's from where Robin Hood was at. Wide over hill and dale. Dusty was the highway, and dusty the throat of the messenger, so that his heart was glad when he saw before him the sign of the Blue Boar Inn. When somewhat more than half his journey was done, the inn looked fair to his eyes, and the shade of the oak trees that stood around it seemed cool and pleasant. So he alighted from his horse to the rest for a time, calling for a pot of ale to refresh his thirsty throat. There he saw a party of right jovial fellows seated beneath the spreading oak that shaded the greenswood in front of the door. There was a tinkerer, 2 barefoot friars, and a party of 6 King's Forster, all clad in Lincoln green, and all of them were quaffing, humming an ale. They were all quaffing humming ale and singing merry ballads of the good old times. If only they knew. If only they knew how good old times they were. Tired of 2020. Bring us back to 2020 and a half. You guys like 2020? Well, how about 2020 Part 2? Electric Boogaloo. Quaffing ham, loud laughed the foresters, and jests were bandied by between the singing and louder laughed the friars. For there were lusty men with beards that curled like the wool of black rams. Oh, wow, okay. But loudest of all laughed the tinker, and he sang more sweetly than any one of the rest. His bag and his hammer hung upon the twig of oak tree, and nearby leaned his good stout cudgel as thick as his wrist, and nodded at the end. Come, cried one of the forest to the tired messenger. Come join us for this shot. Ho, landlord, bring a fresh pot of ale for each man. The messenger was glad enough to sit down along with the others, who were there, for his limbs were weary and the ale was good. Now, what news bearest thou so fast, and whither ridest thou today? The messenger was a chatty soul, and not a bit of gossip dearly. Besides, the pot of ale warmed his heart, so that, settling himself in an easy corner of the inn bench, while the host leaned upon the doorway, and the hostess stood with her hands beneath her apron, he unfolded his budget of news, and with a great comfort, he told all from the very first how Robin Hood had slain the forester, how he had hidden in the greenwood to escape the law, and how they lived therein all against the law, God wot, slaying his majesty deer and levying troll on fat abbot, knight and squire, so that none dared travel even in the broad Watling Street or the Fosse Way, for fear of him. How that the sheriff, heaven save his worship, heaven save his worship, who paid him the messenger 6 pence every Saturday night of good broad money stamped to the king's head, besides ale at Michaelmas and a fat goose at Christmas tide, had a mind to serve the king's warrant upon this same rogue. The little would be mind either warrant to king or sheriff, for he is far from being a law-abiding man. Then he told how none could be found in all Nottingham town to serve his warrant, for fear of cracked pates and broken bones, and how he, the messenger, was now upon his way to Lincoln town to find of what metal the Lincoln men might be, and whether there were any there that dared serve the same warrant. Wherefore was he now... What was that? Was that a firework? Are you still doing fireworks? It's after July 4th. Oh well. Where was I at? Some people don't even know this. It's hard. I honestly don't believe that. People genuinely believe that Greedo shot first. No. Han shot first. I don't even think he shoots. I'm pretty sure it's just Han Solo that shoots and he just dies. We'll get to that in a bit. Let me just finish this paragraph. Was now upon his way to Lincoln town to find what metal the Lincoln men might be, and whether there were any there that dared serve the same warrant. Wherefore was he now sitting among the prettiest lads he had ever known, and the ale was the best ale he had tasted in all his life. Nice. I'll read this other paragraph, it's short. To this disclosure they listened to with open mouths and eyes, for it was a fair piece of gossip to them. Then when the messenger had done, the jolly tinkerer broke silence. Now let's get to this. See? The Greedo didn't even shoot. Han Solo shot first, and the other guy, it wasn't even self-defense. Well, maybe it was. Maybe. I don't know. Did he have a gun on him? I wasn't looking. Doesn't matter. He shot first. Now come I, forsooth, from good Banbury town, said he, and no one nigh Nottingham, nor Sherwood either, and that be the mark, can hold cudgel with my grip. Why, lads, did I not meet the mad wag Simon of Ely even at the famous fair at Hertford town, and beat him in the ring at the place before Sir Robert of Leslie and his lady? This same Robin Hood, of whom I wot I never heard of before, is right merry blade, but gin he be strong, am I not stronger? And gin he, I'm gonna say gin he be sly, am I not slyer? Now by the bright eyes of Nano the mill, and by my own name, and that's what o' the crab staff, and by mine own mother's son, you mean you? And that's my, yes, and that's myself. Will I, you said yourself twice. What a butt. Will I, even I, Watto the Crabstaff, meet this same sturdy rogue, and gin he minds not steal our glorious sovereign King Harry, and the warrant of the good sheriff of Nottinghamshire? I will so bruise, beat, and bemaul this pate, that he shall never move finger or toe again. Hear ye that, bully boys? Come, let us have another bout. Thou art thou the man for my farthing, and back thou goest with me to Nottingham town. Nay, quoth the twinker. Nay, quoth the tinker. Shake his head slowly from side to side. Go I with no man, gin, it be not with mine own free will. Nay, nay, say the messenger. No man is there in Nottinghamshire could make thee go against thy will, thou brave fellow. Aye, that be I brave. Aye, marry, thou art a brave lad, but our good sheriff hath offered for some angels of bright gold unto whosoever shall serve the warrant upon Robin Hood. Though little good will it do. Then I will go with thee, lad. Do but wait till I get my bag and hammer my cudgel. Aye, let me but meet this same Robin Hood, and let me see whether he will not mind the king's warrant. So after having paid their score, the messenger with the tinker striding beside his nag, started back to Nottingham again. One bright morning soon after this, Robin Hood started out to Nottingham town to find what was doing there, walking merrily along the roadside. Oh man, Robin, you're a legend. Oh, also, Jabba the Hutt was human, I think. I don't know if it was in this movie, but he was human. He was human. One bright morning, soon after this time, Robin Hood started out to Nottingham town to find what was doing there, walking merrily along the roadside where the grass was sweet and the daisies. Wow, I'm not reading right now. His eyes wandering and his thoughts also. His bugle horn hung at his hip and his bow around his back, while in his hand he bore a good stout oaken staff, which he twirled with his fingers as he strolled along. And thus he walked down the shady lane. He saw a tinker coming, trolling a merry song as he drew nigh. On his back hung the bag and his hammer, and in his hand he carried a rout stout crab staff, full 6 feet long, and thus he sang. Excuse me. In peace caught time when hound to horn, give ears till buck be killed, and little lad with pipes of corn to keeping beast afield. Hello, good friend, cried Robin. I went to gather strawberries. Hello, cried Robin again, by woods and groves full fair. Hello, art thou deaf, man? Good friend, say I. And art thou thus so boldly check a fair song? Quoth Tinker, stopping in his singing. Hello thine own self, whether thou be good friend or no. But let me tell thee, thou stout fellow, gin thou be a good friend, it were well for us both. But gin thou be no good friend, it were ill for thee. What is gin? What is gin? Then let us be good friends, quoth jolly Robin. For ill would it be to eat the ill. For ill would it be to the ill, and ill like I thine oaken staff full well, to make him be but well. So good friends let us be. Aye, marry, then let us be. But good youth, thy tongue runneth so nimbly that my poor and heavy wits can't but ill follow it. So talk more plainly, and I pray, for I am a plain man, forsooth. And whence comest thou, my lusty blade? I come from Branbury. Alas, I hear there is sad news there this merry morn. Ha! Is it indeed so? Cried the tinker eagerly. Prayeth thee, tell it speedily, for I am a tinker by trade, and thou seest as I am in my trade. I am greedy for news, even as price is greedy for farthings. Well then, quoth Robin. List thou, and I will tell, but bear thyself up bravely, for the news is sad, I wot. Thus it is, I hear 2 tinkers are in stock for drinking ale and beer. Now more and see thee and thy news, thou scurvy dog, for thou speakest but ill of good men, but sad news it is indeed. Gin, there be 2 stout fellows in the stock. Nay, thou hast missed the marks and dost but weep for wrong so. The sadness of the news lieth in that there be but two in stock, for the others do roam the country at large. Whoa, okay. Now, by the pewter patter of St. Dunstan, cried the tinkerer, I have a good part of mine to base thy high for thine ill jest. But gin men be put on in the stocks for drinking ale and beer, I trow thou wouldst not lose thy part. Loud laughed Robin, thank you for putting that behind. Now will taking, tinkerer, well taken. Why, thou wits are like beer, and do froth most when they grow sour. But right art thou, man, for I love ale and beer right well. Therefore come straight away with me, hard by to the sign of the Blue Boar, and if thou drinkest as thou appearest, and I wot Therefore come straight away with me, hard by to the sign of the Blue Boar. Here it is. And if thou drinkest as thou appearest, and I wot thou will not belly thy looks, I will drench thy throat with as good homebrewed as ever was tapped in the broad of Nottinghamshire. I did it. Now, by my faith, thou art a right good fellow in spite of the scurvy jest. I love thee, my sweet chuck and gin. I go not with thee to the same Blue Boar. Thou mayst call me a... Like I said, different times. This time it's not an ass. It's oh man. Well, it is what it's written. I don't know what else to say, but I read what's on the book. I'm gonna read it. 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 I love thee, my sweet chuck and gin. I go not with thee to that same Blue Boar. Thou mayst call me a heathen Jew. Tell me thy news, good friends, I prayeth thee, quoth Robin as they trudged along together. For tinkerers, I ween, are all as full as news as an egg of meat. Now I love thee as my brother, my bully blade. Else I would not tell thee my news, for sly am I a man, and I have in hand a grave undertaking that doth call for all my wits. Okay, I said that right. For I come to seek a bold outlaw that men hereabouts call Robin Hood. Within my pouch I have a warrant all fairly written out on a parchment, forsooth with a great red seal for to make it lawful. Could I but meet this same Robin Hood, I would serve it upon his dainty body. I would serve it upon his dainty body, and if he minded it not, I would beat him till every one of his ribs would cry amen. But thou livest hereabouts, mayhap thou knowest Robin Hood thyself, good fellow. Ay, marry, that I do somewhat, and I have seen him this very morn. But tinker, men say that he is but a sad slight thief. Thou hadst better watch thy warrants, man, or else he may steal it out of thine very pouch. Let him try. Sly may he be, but sly am I too. I would I had him here. Okay. I would I had him here now, man to man. And he made his heavy cudgel spin again. But what manner of man is he, lad? Much like myself, said Robin, laughing. And in height and build and age and nigh. Don't tell him! Don't tell the guy it's you! And he hath blue eyes. Oh, you have blue eyes. Aw, lucky. My eyes are pretty too. They're brown, but they're honey colored. Honey colored eyes, that's what I say. Truly he is not so old nor so stout as thou art, but men do call him of right deft hand at quarterstep. That may he be, said the tinkerer right sturdily. Wait, hold on. I skipped one. Nay, thou art but a green youth. I thought him to be a great bearded man. Nottingham men fear him so. Truly he is not so old nor so stout as thou art, but men do call him a right deft hand at quarterstaff. That may he be, said the tinkerer right sturdily, but I am more deft than he, for did I not overcome Simon of El? He doesn't know. Don't tell him, he doesn't know. Fourscore bout in a ring at Hertford town. But if thou knowest him, my jolly blade, wilt thou go with me and bring him to me? Fourscore bright angel hath the share promised me, if I serve the warrant upon thy name's body. And 10 of them I will give to thee, if thou showest me him. Aye, that I will. But show me thy warrant, man, until I see whether it be good or no. That I will not do. Even to my own brother, no man shall see my warrant till I serve it upon yon fellow's own body. So be it. And thou showest not to me, I know not to whom thou shalt show it. But here we are at a sign of the Blue Boar. So let us in and taste his his brown October. No sweeter inn could be found in all Nottinghamshire than that of the Blue Boar. None had such lovely trees standing around, or was it so over... Wasn't there another Blue Boar? Hold on. The Lincoln guy. He was... let me see. Then he blade up saddles, ready to go to Lincoln Town to whether he could find any blah blah. Dusty was the high... Yeah. Before him the sign of the Blue Boar Inn. Oh, so in the same place. Okay. Where was I at? No sweeter inn could be found in all Nottinghamshire than that of the Blue Boar. None had such lovely trees standing around, or was it so covered with trailing clematis and sweet woodbine. None had such good beer and such humming ale, wait, beer and ale is different? I thought they was the same. Oh well. In wintertime, don't drink alcohol. I don't. Wind howled and snow drifted around the hedges. Was there to be found elsewhere such a that is no moon? Did he already say it? Also, something bit my neck. Yeah, he already said it. Aw, no Kino moment. Yep. Something bit my neck. To be found elsewhere, such a roaring fire as blazed upon the hearth of Blue Boar. At such times might be found the goodly company of yeomen or country folk seated around the blazing hearth, bandying merry jests while roasted crabs, small sour apples, bobbed in bowls of ale upon the hearthstone. Well known was the inn to Robin Hood and his band, for there had he and such merry companions as Little John, or Will Studley, or young David of Doncaster, often gathered when all the forest was filled with snow. As for mine host, and he knew how to keep a still tongue in his head, and to swallow his words before they passed the teeth. For he knew very well which side of his bread it was spread with butter, for Robin and his band were the best customers, and paid their scores without having them chalked up to behind the door. So now when Robin Hood and the tinker came thereto, and called aloud for 2 great pots of ale, none would have known from look or speech that the host had ever seen ye eyes upon the outline before. Bide thou here, said Robin to the tinker, while I go and see that mine host draweth the ale from the right butt, for he hath good October, and I know that the brood with... Wow, I'm not in the right mind right now. Hold on. Whew! Bide thou here, quoth Robin to the tinker, while I go and see mine host draweth ale from the right butt, for he hath good October, and I know, and that he brewed by Withhold of Tamworth. So saying, he went within and whispered to the host to add a measure of Plymouth strong waters to the good ale. He's gonna make him drunk. He's gonna steal his warrant and steal his money. I don't know. Yeah, he is gonna steal his money. It's Robin Hood. Anyone who wants to talk to Robin Hood or steal from him, he steals from them. By Our Ladies. Wait, let's see. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Latter did and brought it to them. By Our Lady, said the tinker after a long draught of the ale. Yon sign Withhold of Tamworth, a right good Saxon name too. I would have thee know, brute, the most humming ale that e'er passed the lips of Watto the Crabb's staff. Drink, man, drink! Ho, landlord, bring my friend another pot of the same. And now for a song, my jolly blade. Did I skip something? Yeah, I did. Cried Robin, only wetting his own lips meanwhile. I knew it. I was about to ask, how is he not getting drunk? He's just... Well, I'm drinking too. Aye, that will I give thee a song, my fellow man, my lovely fellow, quoth the tinkerer. For I had never tasted such ale in all my days before. Briar lady, it doth make my head humming even now. Hey, dame hostess, come listen. And, wait, can you see me doing that? I hope so. Come listen, and thou wouldst hear a song, and thou too, thou bonny lass, for never sing I so well as when bright eyes do look upon my... Aww. Then he sang an ancient ballad of the time of good King Arthur called The Marriage of Sir Gawain. I know him, he's one of the Round Table guys. Which you may sometime read yourself in stout English of early times. And as he sang, all listened to the noble tale of noble knight and his sacrifice to his king. But long before the tinker came to the last verse, his tongue began to trip and his head to spin. Yeah, head to spin, because of the strong waters mixed with the ale. First his tongue tripped, and then it grew thick of sound. Then his head wagged from side to side until at last he fell asleep, as though he never would have wakened again. Then Robin Hood laughed aloud and quickly took the warrants from out of the tinker's pouch with his deft slingers. Slow art thou, tinker, quoth he, but not yet, I trow, art thou as sly as the same sly thief, Robin Hood. Then he called to the host to him, and said, Here, good man, our 10 broad shilling for entertainment thou hast given us this day. See that thou takest good care of thy fair guest, there. And when he wakes, thou mayst again charge for him 10 shillings also. And if he hath it not, thou mayst take his bag and hammer, and even his coat in payment. Thus do I punish those that come into Greenwood to deal dole to me. And as for thine own self, never knew I a landlord yet that would not charge twice as he could. At this the host smiled slightly, as though the saying himself rustic saw, Teach a magpie to suck egg. I'll suck egg. Whoo! I'm getting a perm. The tinker slept until the afternoon drew to close and the shadows grew long beside the woodland edge. Then he woke. First to look upon it, he looked up, and then he looked down. Then he looked east. Then he looked west. For he was gathering his wits together like barley straws blown apart by the wind. First he thought of his merry companion, but he was gone. Then he thought of his stout crabstaff, and that he had within his hand. Then of his warrant of all 80 angels he was to gain for serving it upon Robin Hood. He thrust his hand into his pouch, but not a scrap nor a farthing was there. Then he sprung to his feet in his rage. Ho, landlord! Whither hath that knave gone that was with me but now? What knave meaneth your worship? Quoth the landlord, calling the tinker of worship to soothe him. Let's see. As a man would pour oil upon angry water. I saw no knave with you, your worship. For I swear no man would dare call that man knave so nigh to Sherwood Forest. A right stout yeoman I saw with your worship, but I thought that your worship knew him. For few there be about here that pass him by and know him not. Now how should I that near ever have squealed in your sty? You have. Now know all the swine therein. Who was he then, as thou knowest him so well? Why, yon name is right, stout fellow, who men hereabout do call Robin Hood, which same, now by Our Lady, cried the tinker hastily in a deep voice like an angry bull. Hold on, let me do that again. Now by Our Lady, thou didst see me come into thine inn, I, a staunch honest craftsman, and never told me who my company was? Well, knowing thine own self, who he was. Excuse me. Ah, that was a good one. Now I have a right brown piece of mind to crack thy knave's pay for thee. Then he took up his cudgel and looked at the landlord as though he would smite him with where he stood. Nay, cried the host, throwing up his elbow, on fear of the blow. How knew I that thou knewest him not? Well, and truly thankful mayst thou be, tinkerer, that I be a patient man, and so do spare thy bald crown. Else wouldst thou near cheat customer again. But as for this same knave Robin Hood, I go straight away to seek him, and if I do not score his knave's pay, cut myself into... I be a patient man and do so spare thy bald crown, blah blah blah. But let's see, where was it? But as for the same name Robin Hood, I go straight away to seek him, and if I do not score his name's pay, cut my staff into faggots and call me women. It's a different time. It was a different time. Nay, quoth the landlord, standing in front of him and holding out his arms like a gooseherd, driving his flock for money made him bold. Thou goest not till thou hast paid me my score. But did not he pay thee? Not so much as 1 farthing, and 10 good shillings worth of ale have ye drunk this day. Nay, I say thou goest not away without paying me, else shall our good sheriff know of it. But now have I to pay thee with, good fellow, not me, good fellow am I when it cometh to losing 10 shillings. Pay me that thou owest me in broad money, or else leave thy coat and bag and hammer. Yet I wot they are not worth 10 shillings, and I shall lose thereby. Nay, and thou stirrest, I have a great dog within, and I will loose him upon thee, making open thou the door, and I let forth Brian. His name's Brian. If this fellow stirs one step. Nay, quoth the tinker, for by roaming the country I learned what dogs were. Okay. Take thou what thou wilt have. Let me depart in peace. Thou may Moraine go with thee. But O landlord, and I catch yon scurvy varlet, I swear. Well, yeah, he shall pay full within Surrey, for he hath had. So saying, he strode away toward the forest, talking to himself, while the landlord and his worthy dame Make stood looking after him. More fireworks. And that when he had fairly gone. Robin and I have stripped yon. Okay. Robin and I have stripped yon ass of his pack made neatly, quoth the landlord. Okay, so we're not done. We're almost done with this. And this movie's like good 30 minutes. Now it happened about this time that Robin Hood was going through the forest to Foss Way to see what has to be seen there. For the moon was full and the night gave promise of being bright. In his hand he carried his stout oaken staff, and at his side hung his bugle horn. As thus he walked up a forest path, whistling down another path came the tinkerer, muttering to himself and shaking his head like an angry bull. And so at a sudden bend they met sharply face to face. Each stood still for a time, and then Robin spoke. "Hello, my sweet bird," laughing merrily. "How likest thou thine ale? Will not sing to me another song?" The tinkerer said nothing at first, but still looking at Robin with a grim face. "Now," quoth he at last, "I am right glad I have met thee, and if I do not rattle thy bones within thy hide, this day I give thee leave to put thy foot upon my neck." "With all my heart," cried merry Robin. "Rattle my bones, and thou canst." So saying, he gripped the staff and threw himself upon his guard. Then the tinkerer spat upon his hands, and grasping his staff, came straight at the other. He struck 2 or 3 blows but soon found that he had met his match, for Robin warded and parried all of them. And before the tinkerer thought, he gave him a rap. Before the tinkerer thought, he gave him a rap upon the ribs in return. Ooh. And at this Robin laughed, and the tinkerer grew more angry than ever, and smote again with all his might and main again. Again Robin warded 2 of the strokes, but at the third his staff broke beneath the mighty blows of the tinkerer. "Now ill betide thee, traitor staff." Oh, it's Robin that's talking. "Now ill betide thee, traitor staff, a foul stick heart, art thou to serve me thus in my hour of need?" "Now yield thee," quoth the tinkerer, "for thou art my captain, and if thou do not, I will beat thy pate to a pudding." To this Robin had made no answer, but clapping his horn to his lips, he blew 3 blasts loud and clear. "Aye," quoth the tinkerer, blow thou mayst, but go thou must with me to Nottingham town." Wow, these people talk so weird. "For the sheriff would have fain see thee there. Now will thou yield thee, or shall I have to break thy pretty head?" You don't have to call me pretty, though. And I must drink sour ale, I must. But never had I yielded me to a man before that without wound or mark upon my body. Nor when I bethink me will I yield now. Ho, my merry men, come quickly! Then from out the forest leap Little John and 6 stout yeomen, clad in Lincoln green. How now, good master? What need hast thou that thou dost wind thy horn so loudly? There stands a tinker, thou would fain to take me to Nottingham, there to hang upon the gallows trees. Then shall he himself hang forthwith, cried the Little John, and he and the others made a tinker so seize him. So to seize him. To seize him. Nay, touch him not, Robin, said Robin, for a right stout man he is he. A metal man he is by trade, and a metal man by nature, moreover. He doth sing a lovely ballad. Say, good fellow, wilt thou join my merry men all? 3 suits of Lincoln green shall thou have a year. Only 3. I can't get over that. Thou shalt share all with us a lead and right merry life in greenwood, for cares have we not, and misfortune cometh not upon us within the sweet shades of Sherwood, where we shoot the dun deer and feed upon the venison and sweet oaken cakes and curds and honey. Wilt thou not come with me? Aye, marry, I will. I join with you, quoth the king. For I love a merry life, and I love thee, good master. Though thou didst thwack my ribs and cheat me into a bargain, fain am I to own thou art about a stouter and slyer man than I. So I will obey thee and be thine own true servant. So all turn their steps to forest. Okay, did something touch me? No, I thought something touched me. So all turned their steps to the forest depths where the tinkerer was to live. Henceforth, for many a day he sang ballads to the band, until the famous Allen the Dale joined them, before whose sweet voice all others seemed as harsh as raven. But of him we learn hereafter. Oh, cool, end the chapter. Well, I didn't say this last time, but type what you like about this chapter. Comment what you like about this chapter. Comment what you want me to read maybe in the future. Comment what you think of this. Comment if I should say those words. I'm pretty tired, so I'll stop here. Hey man, have a good day.